So student, in last class we have covered design of thin cylinder by considering the some of the assumptions. Then we'll consider the two types of failure in thin cylinder. One of is longitudinal across the longitudinal section, which is called circumferential failure, and second is longitudinal failure. We also seen the equations for the hoop stress, then for the longitudinal stress, and lastly we have covered the design of spherical cylinder, thin spherical cylinder. Then we try to solve a few numericals, that is 1 and 2 on thin cylinder. Let's try to complete the remaining design of thin cylinder and spherical cylinder. So here cylinder air receiving having 1 meter internal diameter. Okay, so internal diameter D is 1 meter. It is given. Has hemispherical ends. Okay, so cylindrical pressure vessels having hemispherical ends. Okay, like this. A maximum air pressure in the vessels is in receiver is 2 Newton per millimeter square. That is P is equal to 2 Newton millimeter per square. For the material of cylinder, the ultimate stress is given 300 Newton per millimeter square. Determine the thickness of plate of cylinder for the factor of safety 5. So here we have given factor of safety 5. Assume 100% joint efficiency. So we are going to take 100% efficiency. That means it is 1. Okay. Now it's very simple numerical. What we have to do is we have to simply determine the plate thickness, that is cell thickness. Cell thickness T. Okay. Cell thickness. Okay. So for that we are going to use two equations. Because it is a cylindrical pressure vessels, it can fail across the longitudinal section or it may fail across the transverse directions, right? So by considering two equations, we are going to find two values of the cell thickness, out of which one which is have a higher value is our final answer, right? So first is considering circumferential failure. Okay, so cell thickness T is equal to P into D divided by 2 into hoop stress into joint efficiency. Okay, now here joint efficiency is 100%. So let's replace the values. That is cell thickness T is equal to pressure is 2, diameter is here it is given 1 meter. So let's convert into millimeter, which is 1000 millimeter. Okay. Now divide by 2 into the stress. Here stress is given it in terms of ultimate value and the factor of safety is given is 5. So for safe value, let's find the permissible safe value is simply the ultimate stress divided by factor of safety. So it is 300 divided by 5. So what we are going to get is very simple. It is going to be 60. Okay. So here we cannot use directly 300 value because it is ultimate stress value. We have to use the permissible stress value. So it is going to be 60 Newton per millimeter square, right? Again, this pressure is also in terms of Newton per millimeter square. Please be careful. You have to equate the units. Now let's cancel out these two, then cancel out the 0 and let's find the thickness T. Cell thickness T comes out to be 16.67 millimeter. So as a final answer, we are going to adapt is equal to 18 millimeter, right? As a safe side. So here it is the cell thickness is 18 millimeter. So this is by considering the circumferential failure. Let's consider the second possibilities, that is transverse failures. Okay, transverse failure. So here the cell thickness T is equal to P into D divided by 4 times longitudinal stress into joint efficiency. Here we have taken joint efficiency 100% means equal to 1. So you can divide by 1. So it has no effect, right? So when you divide something by 1, it is remain same value. Okay. So let's take the value of pressure 2, diameter 1000, 4 times 60 and 1. Again you can see it's a half of the previous case. So the cell thickness comes out to be 8.3 millimeters. So we can take it is equal to 10 millimeters. Okay. So we have two cell thickness value. So out of which this is higher value, which will take care of the failure of the pressure vessel in two ways. One is longitudinal failure, second is transverse failure. So here the cell thickness is equal to 18 millimeter. We cannot take this 10 mm. If you choose the 10 mm, it survive in the transverse failure, but it is going to fail in the circumferential failure, right? But this higher value will take care of both the situations. So our final answer is 18 millimeter. Okay. Now let's solve another problem. The thickness of a cylinder having 500 millimeter internal diameter is a thickness of a cylinder having 500 millimeter internal diameter is 20 millimeter. So internal diameter D is given, which is 500. Okay. And the cell thickness is given 20 millimeter. The cylinder is subjected to internal pressure P 2 megapascal. Determine hoop stress. Longitudinal stress and the shear stress. Okay, we have to find out three stresses. Okay, now let's start with the given data. Also state the type of cylinder, whether it is thick cylinder or thin cylinder, based on D by T ratio. So first is hoop stress is equal to P into D divided by 2 times into cell thickness into joint efficiency. Here we have not given the joint efficiency, so we can ignore it. So pressure is 2 megapascal, diameter is 500 millimeter divided by cell thickness, which is 20, right? And the joint efficiency is not given, so we're going to take 100%. So here cancel out 2, cancel out the 0. So we are going to get the hoop stress is equal to 25 megapascal. Megapascal means Newton per millimeter square. Similarly, for longitudinal stress, it is P into D divided by 4 times cell thickness and the joint efficiency. 2, 500, 4, thickness is 20 and the joint efficiency taken as 1. So this is half of the previous value. So the answer will be, so here the longitudinal stress is equal to 12.5 megapascal. As we have learned in theory that the longitudinal stress is half of the you can say the hoop stress. So this is very clear from the this numerical. Okay. Now let's find out the shear stress. Okay. So shear stress is simply nothing, hoop stress minus sigma L divided by 2. Okay. So sigma H, that is hoop stress, is 25 minus 12.5 divided by 2. So 12.5 divided by 2, again it comes out to be 6.25 megapascal. Okay. So this is shear stress. So here in numerical what we have given, a cylinder like this. Okay. So this is its section like this. Okay. So hoop stress is in this direction, which is having larger value, 25 megapascal. Okay. Then the longitudinal, that is separating in two directions, that is in this way. Okay. Or let me show you on this side. So this is longitudinal stress, which is half of the hoop stress. Okay, and the shear stress is simply in this direction at 45 degree. Okay, so this is again 6.25 by the normal stress principle equations. Okay, now what is the type of cylinder here? So here d by t ratio, d is 500 and the cell thickness is 20. So cancel out. So this is 25. Okay, so it is more than 10. So we are going to call this cylinder as a thin cylinder. It is thin cylinder. Okay, it is not a thick cylinder because the ratio is more than 10. Now let's talk about the design of thick cylinder. Now when you say thick cylinder, that means the ratio of internal diameter, which is inside diameter d, and the cell thickness t, d by t is less than 10, then we are going to call it thick cylinder. Now you have to keep one thing in mind, why there is a classification is like this, thin and thin cylinder, right? Thin or thick cylinder. This is based on the applications. So there are applications like say hydraulic cylinder, high pressure pipes which we use in a hydraulic circuit, right? Even gun barrels. All these are requirements. Okay, so where the pressure inside the cylinder is very high. So to sustain it, you need to make the wall thickness or cell thickness larger. So in doing so, the ratio of d by t reduces from more than 10, it is reduced by the less than 10. Okay, so we are going to term it as thick cylinder. So just look at the picture over here. Okay, so this is representation of thick cylinder. Hydraulic cylinders are basically best example to understand it, right? So using hydraulic cylinder, all the hydraulic equipments like excavator and other are operating by with the use of hydraulic pressures, right? Even here, if you look at it very carefully, this is the pipe for gun barrels. Okay, here the cell thickness is very high, so you can understand the pressure which is going to flow or going to store inside this is offering much higher value of pressures. Hence, to sustain it, its cell thickness is made larger. So this kind of cylinders are fall under the call thick cylinder category, right? Now the design of thick cylinder is different than the thin cylinder. If you think about the stresses developed in thick cylinder with respect to thin cylinder, there is some changes over here. The stresses over the section of walls cannot be assumed to be uniform distributed. Now, this is the assumption we made in thin cylinder, where the cell thickness is very less compared to its internal diameter. So we assume whatever stress is developed is uniform. But here the cell thickness is having noticeable value, right? So we cannot continue with that assumption. So here it is not uniform. So they develop both tangential and radial stresses. Try to focus on this statement. So because of the thickness of the cell, they produce two types of stresses. One is tangential. Tangential means in this direction. Second is radial, means this directions. Okay, with value which are depend upon the radius of the element under considerations. So this statement try to describe the two types of stresses which is going to induce in thick cylinder. One is tangential, which is again depend on the cell thickness, and also the radial stresses. Okay, so what will happen because of the thick cylinder, when the force is applied in, so the section, let me draw like this. This section is going to subjected to tangential stresses, right? It try to separate in two equal parts, right, along the longitudinal axis, right? So hence we are going to call it tangential stresses, right? Tangential stresses. But because of the thickness, it is also going to expand, right, in another directions, right? So that is also going to create a radial stresses, which were absent in the case of the thin cylinder. Now if you look at very carefully, this is the figure of the thick cylinder cell, right? So it is subjected to internal pressure Pi. Now here we have a inner radius and outer radius, and the subtraction of two will going to give you the cell thickness. Now what is the situation of tangential stress? it is having maximum value at the inside and the minimum at the outside. So this is the distribution of tangential stress due to the higher cell thickness. But similarly, if we talk about the radial stresses means expansion of the whole pressure vessels in radial way, because when the pressure is applied, just try to visualize you are blowing the air in balloon. So what happened? When you blow the air in the balloon, it does expand in 3 dimensions, right? Overall volume increases. So outer surfaces or the material is subjected to 2 type of stresses. Tangential, it is pulling, right? It is a pulling in a vertical direction. It is called tangential stresses. But simultaneously, it is also expanding in radially. So that is radial stresses and tangential stresses both are induced in a thick cylinder. So radial stress is having maximum value in inner portion and the zero value in outer portions, right? So these are the 2 types of stresses basically observed in thick cylinder. So in the design of thick cylinder cell, following basically equations are used. One is Lami's equations, second is Bernoulli's equations, third is Clarinot's equations, and fourth is Barlow's equations, right? Now these use of these theories depend on type of material used to produce the pressure vessels. It also depend on end conditions. We are going to cover the Lami's theory. Okay. Now let's discuss what are the specific things about the Lami's theory. Commonly, it is used for stress analysis in thick cylinder. So this is the application of Lami's theory. Basically, it's help us to derive the mathematical equation which correlate the internal pressure and the cell thickness, right? So it is specifically used for analysis of stresses in thick cylinder. It is based on maximum normal stress theory and maximum principal stress theory. Now what exactly is this? If you recall our strength of material knowledge, then you can understand it, right? So maximum normal stress when will happen? That is a tangential stress, there is a radial stress, or you can say and then going to be a shear stress, right? So how can you find the maximum normal stress? Normal stress means perpendicular to applied sections, right? Even if the load is applied at angular level, we have to find out what is the value of normal stress and its maximum value. So there is a mathematics involved over here. So if you can just go and recall the theory of the normal stresses and principal stresses from strength of material subject. Now, according to theory, the hoop stress is maximum, which is of tensile nature, as shown in the previous figure. It is of tensile nature, maximum at the inner section, okay, at the inner surface of the wall, and minimum at the outer surface. You have to remember this. It is maximum at the inner portion, max, and it reduces to the minimum value, not zero, minimum value at the outer portion, right? Similarly, the radial stresses are maximum and of compressive natures, right? So why something like this? ऐसा क्यों होगा भाई? आप balloon को imagine करो. When you are filling the air, blowing the air in the balloon, the outer surface is expanding, right? So how can you imagine this? Let's say this is thick cylinder, okay? Now because of the pressure, what will happen? The outer surface is going to expand. So it is going to subject to the tensile stresses, But because the inner surface is thick, it is going to subject the compressive stresses, we are going to refer as radial stresses, right? So these radial stresses are basically maximum at the inner portion and having compressive in natures, right? It try to pull it. Inner surface of the wall and zero at the outer surface, as shown in the previous figure. Just try to see with the close attention. So tangential stress maximum at the inner portion and the minimum at the outer portion. And because of expansion in all directions, it is also subjected to radial stresses. So radial stress is having a compressive stress, right? So basically it's a compressive stress and having maximum value at inner portion and zero value at the outer portions. Now we have to combine these two stresses at the same section, and then we are going to get the maximum stress occurring at particular location or section. So based on the maximum value, we are going to find the cell thickness required to carry out the safe work in a thick cylinder. Now, what are the assumptions made in thick cylinder? The first is the material of cylinder is homogeneous, means its property in all direction, or the material section is homogeneous. It is its constituents, let's say ferrite, argon, carbon, all are having specific proportion, but they are uniform in all direction. They are also isotropic, means in whichever direction you look at, the stresses, tensile stresses, compressive stresses value are same. It is not varying. It follows the Hooke's law. The second assumption is the cross section of cylinder is symmetrical. This is important to its longitudinal axis. तो जो भी thick cylinder है वो क्या है, longitudinal axis के symmetric है, right? And the load acting on the cylinder is also symmetrical to its longitudinal axis. So whatever force is exerted from due to the fluid pressure is also uniform and symmetrical. It is not like on the left side it is higher, on the right side it is lower, right? This is assumptions. The cylinder is open at both the ends. Now mostly the thick cylinder, based on application, just recall the first figure. Here this hydraulic cylinder need to be opened so that it can push the piston out, right? So mostly you'll find the thick cylinder are open-ended. Just remember the gun barrel. When you fire the gun, what happened? It has to be open. Otherwise, bullet cannot escape from the gun itself, right? So it need to be open. So here it is taken in assumption. Cylinder at the both side is open, and longitudinal stresses induced in the cylinder is negligible. Means sigma L that we saw in the case of thin cylinder is negligible. We are only going to consider, because of a thick cylinder, we are going to consider Hooke's stress as well as the radial stress only. No longitudinal stresses across the transverse section. Okay. Now, to understand the Lami's equation, you need to understand some of the terms associated with the designing of the thick cylinder. The first is outer radius of cylindrical cell, which is defined by RO, right? The largest radius of thick cylinder, right? From center to outer surface. Now RI, inner radius of cylindrical cell, which is from center to the inside surface, which is termed as RI. Now thickness of cylindrical cell. So how can you find it? Very simple. The subtraction of inner radius and outer radius. So when you subtract it like this, so this is RO and this is inner radius. So from this, if you subtract this, you are going to get the cell thickness. Okay. Now small p is the intensity of internal pressures. So whatever fluid is used, which is stored at higher pressure than the atmospheric pressure. So basically in thick cylinder, the inside pressure of fluid is always higher with respect to the thin cylinder design, right? So it is termed as P. Now Poisson's ratio, mu. Now what is Poisson's ratio? It's a ratio of longitudinal to the transverse stress value, right? Now the tangential stress is defined by sigma T and the radial stress is defined by sigma R, right? Now just look at the again second figure. So this is for tangential distribution and this is for radial stress distribution. Remember, in thick cylinder, the tangential stress is maximum at the inner portions or inner section and it is minimum at the outer section. But the radial stress is basically maximum at the inner section and zero at outer sections. Always remember how these stress are, how can you visualize this stress? Remember the example of balloon. When you blow the air, it expands in all directions. So outer surface is subjected to tensile stresses because the material is expanding. So length is increasing. So you are going to experience is the tensile pulling, right? But the inside surface, because of the thickness, the inside material is going to try to exert in reverse directions. It tries to contract, right? So that we are going to call it compressive stresses, but we are going to call it radial stresses, right? So material expanding in all directions, from center to outward and from the outward to the right side, it's try to expand in all directions. So we are going to consider tangential stress as well as radial stresses.